In 2004, a massive tsunami struck the southern part of our country, devastating Province A and Province B. The disaster caused tremendous damage, both to property and, most tragically, to human lives. After that event, many people reported experiencing strange and mysterious occurrences. I've heard two of these stories and I'd like to share them with you. The first one happened many years ago and was told to me by a local taxi driver. I had the chance to travel to Province A for work. To get there, I had to land at the airport in Province B and then hire a local taxi to cross over to Province A, a distance of about 60 kilometers, which takes nearly an hour by car. During the ride, we chatted about many things until the conversation eventually turned to this subject. The driver told me that after the tsunami, many people had strange encounters. For example, while driving alone late at night, he once saw dozens of foreign tourists, some standing, some walking, along an empty, desolate road. Given the time and place, there was no reason why any tourists should have been there at all. The second story he told me, in his southern accent, was even stranger. Open quote. There was another driver who picked up a foreign passenger in Province A, heading to the airport in Province B. I don't remember exactly where in Province A he picked him up, but it was very late at night. The passenger even had luggage with him. When they crossed the Saracen Bridge into Province B, they had to pass through a police checkpoint at Maicao. As usual, the driver rolled down his window so the officers could inspect. The driver explained that he was taking a foreign passenger to the airport, but when the officer glanced at the back seat, then looked back at the driver, he seemed puzzled. The driver turned to check for himself, and there was no one there. No passenger, no luggage, nothing. And since leaving Province A, he hadn't stopped the car even once. Close quote. At that point, the driver was so shaken that he refused to continue. He decided to spend the night at the checkpoint, too afraid that if he kept driving, the mysterious passenger might suddenly reappear in the back seat. The taxi driver finished telling me the story with a low chuckle, as he steered the car around a bend and continued down the road. Kunyak hai pom tam wor shanti lao ben first person suan jangwat unun jamai klautin krab. Podcast style English version. The second story also took place in Province B, a few years after the tsunami. At that time, I had the opportunity to travel there for work. I was sent to conduct a training program for sales staff in the southern region. The training venue was a seaside hotel, set back from the main road. It was quiet, and overall, a really nice place. I honestly can't remember the name of the hotel anymore, and even if I did, I probably shouldn't say it out loud. The training was scheduled for 2 days and 1 night. The organizers arranged accommodation for all the participants, including those who actually lived in Province B, unless, of course, someone preferred to go home at night. That way, it saved the company a bit of budget. The first day went smoothly, without any issues. But on the second morning, one of the younger participants arrived late. Naturally, I asked why, since we had already agreed on the schedule, and the team didn't want anyone showing up behind time. The young woman told me she had spent the night at a friend's house instead. Curious, I checked the room list. It turned out she had already been assigned a hotel room. So I asked her, "The company provided you with a room, so why didn't you stay there? And why didn't you inform the organizers beforehand?" She looked uneasy and replied, "I didn't dare call anyone. It was already late at night, and I didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble." I could see she was both worried and guilty. I told her we'd talk more later, but for now, she should go into the session. It wasn't until the break that she finally explained what had happened the night before. She had checked into her room as planned. She was sharing with another sales staff member from a different branch. For context, sales assistants at department stores can't all leave their branch at once, so usually only 1 or 2 come at a time. That's why staff often get paired up with colleagues from other branches. Their room was on the 2nd floor. It was a twin room with 2 beds, one close to the bathroom and the other closer to the balcony. The balcony had a sliding glass door, perfect for enjoying the sea view, or for smokers. At first, everything seemed normal, but around 10 p.m., things changed. Her roommate was already asleep when she herself began drifting in and out of slumber, half awake, half dreaming. That's when it happened. She told me, "I saw 3 foreigners, a man, a woman, and a child. They looked like a family. They were standing out on the balcony, just a few steps from the bed. Then they walked straight through the glass door and into the room. They surrounded my bed and stood there, heads bowed, staring down at me. At that moment, I couldn't move at all. It was like sleep paralysis. Then they spoke to me. They told me which parts of this hotel were destroyed by the tsunami, what collapsed, what was damaged. And while they spoke, I saw it all. The buildings falling apart, the bodies, the chaos. It was as if they took me back to that exact day. As she described it, she recalled the details vividly. Someone in our small group asked how she could understand them. Were they speaking English? She answered, "It was strange. It felt like they were speaking Thai, but I can't be sure. Somehow, I understood them perfectly." We leaned closer, listening carefully. "And then what happened?" another trainer asked. She continued, "After a while, everything just disappeared. I was drenched in sweat. I panicked and immediately called a friend who lived in Province B, begging her to pick me up. I woke my roommate, told her that a friend in town was taking me out for the night and that I'd be back in the morning. She didn't ask questions, so I left right away. Since they weren't from the same branch, she didn't feel comfortable sharing what had really happened. We, just 4 or 5 of us who heard the story, nodded slowly. We didn't feel scared, though. After all, we weren't spending another night there. The training would finish that afternoon, and we'd all head home. Still, I had to ask, "And what about your roommate? Did she see anything?" The young woman shook her head. "No, she didn't. But I've always been sensitive to things like this. I've had experiences before." Later, during the lunch break, some of us from the organizing team casually asked the hotel staff about the tsunami. We didn't mention the story at all. We just asked which parts of the hotel had been damaged. And what they told us matched her description exactly. Some areas had been rebuilt, some repaired, and some, further away, were left abandoned, overgrown with weeds and trees. That afternoon, I even walked around a bit myself. And it was true, there were places you could tell had been restored. But here's the thing, if someone hadn't lived through it, they'd never know that a particular building had once been destroyed. And that's what made her story so unsettling. Because what she described, down to the details, was the truth.